I'm here. You don't even know me, but it don't even matter just yet. But I'm challenging myself to do a 30-day challenge. Um, I have some fears. I have some setbacks, and I want to try to overcome those fears. So, my challenge to myself for 30 days is to show up every day and provide something valuable. Now, I'm not the best speaker. I bumble over my words, but one of my challenges is public speaking. I have always had an issue with public speaking, but I said, and I talked to myself that I will not allow myself to be scared to talk in public anymore. So this is my way of speaking regularly and getting comfortable with talking to you guys, my audience, if anyone's out there. But I'm gonna do this for 30 days. I'm gonna try to do it more than one time a day, but it just depends upon how comfortable I am. But I really want this. I want to build my skills in communication and public speaking, and this is my start. So this is my challenge, to show up every day for the next 30 days and beyond. Why not? And then, like I said, my goal is to provide something valuable. So what I'm doing to provide something valuable, I want to, it's basically like talking to myself. These are the things that I want to hear from myself to motivate myself to continue growing and getting better. So, in other words, these are things that I wrote down that I want to say to myself, but I'm saying it out loud to you all. So, it's more so like things that I want to work on. So, productivity, um, information about self help, and just being more productive and forward moving regarding self-development. So that's my goal. And the script that I have, because I'm gonna read from a script. I'm being honest. This is my first video. I'm being honest. Look, I use Chat GTP. I gave Chat a prompt, and I worked on this prompt for a long time. And the prompt that I gave him is very detailed. So I give Chat the things that I want to say. And it's like he my assistant. My Chat is a he. And we work back and forth until he produces or generates what I want to say or speak. So work with me. I'm a work in progress, but I'm challenging myself. I have to move forward, and I think this is my first step, working on my communication and working on my public speaking. Okay, so here we go. Here's this script. So it's about, I ain't even gonna tell you. I don't even know how long it's gonna be. We just gonna get started. Okay. Have you ever wondered why some people always seem to achieve their goals while others struggle to make progress? Despite all their hard work, it's almost like they have some secret formula, something we don't even know about. The truth is, they might not be doing anything revolutionary. They're simply acting as if their vision of success is already a reality. Oh, I didn't even tell you the title. Let me go back. So, excuse me, I'm working through this. So, it's about act as if your vision is already a reality. So, that's what the topic is about, okay? So, now I'm on the second paragraph. Okay, so it can sound strange, right? But what if I told you that the way we think about ourselves and our goals is the key to productivity and success? If we can shift our identity to match the person we want to be, everything else starts to fall in place. You begin acting in ways that align with what aligns with you. No, let me say that again. You begin acting in ways that align with that vision. And before you know it, your dream life starts to feel real. So here's a question to think about. Who do you need to be in order to achieve what you want? And if you could imagine that version of yourself today, what would they do right now? Stay with me. We're diving deeper into this, okay? So, acting as if your vision is already a reality is rooted in a concept called identity-based productivity. This simply means that instead of focusing solely on tasks or outcomes, you focus on the kind of person you need to be in order to achieve those goals. In other words, your actions and habits come from your identity rather than just your to-do list. Why does this matter? Well, let's break it down. Imagine you're someone who wants to get fit. If you're only focusing on the task of exercising, it might feel like a burden, like something you're checking off. But if you start identifying as someone who values their health, someone who is a regular at the gym, then exercising becomes a natural part of who you are. The identity shapes the behavior, not the other way around. This idea doesn't just apply to fitness. Whether it's finance, relationships, or career, when you start seeing yourself as already living the life you envision, your choices reflect that shift. The way you spend your time, energy, and focus begins to align with your highest goals. But here's where it gets interesting. Numerous studies show that our identity plays a huge role in determining our behavior. Psychologist Dr. Carol Dweck, famous for her work on mindset, says that how we see ourselves impacts how we approach challenges. For instance, someone with a growth mindset sees failure as a part of learning, whereas someone with a fixed mindset might avoid altogether. Let me say that again. Whereas someone with a fixed mindset might avoid trying altogether to prevent failure. Okay, I'm gonna step off stage. So it's a couple of things that during this process, I'm gonna tell you, I read this book, Be Our Guest. It's from the Disney Institute. So it's about customer service and the customer experience. But one thing I got from it, when you're at work or trying to build as a leader or trying to build your company, your employees are considered basically, what did he say? Basically, it's like you always on stage when you're at work. But when you step behind the stage, you off stage, basically. You're not at work, so you can be yourself. But when you in front or at the amusement park at Disney World or Disneyland, you should always be on and providing and staying in that character, no matter what. So while I'm reading this script, I'm on stage. I'm acting as if I'm that particular character working on my skills. But when I say I'm off stage, that's when I'm talking like me, my real self. Okay? I'm not perfect, I'm not polished, but I'm present. Okay? So I'm off stage now. Now I'm gonna go back on stage and finish reading the script. Okay? So it starts with another interesting observation comes from Another interesting observation comes from the world of high performers. Successful people, whether in business, sports, or art, often have a strong sense of identity. Take someone like Oprah Winfrey. Long before she became a media mogul, she identified as a powerful communicator who could make a difference. That self-image shaped the actions she took every day. What about the science of habit formation? The research from Charles Duhigg Duhigg's book, The Power of Habit, reveals that habits are easier to change when they are tied to a person's identity. Instead of trying to make a habit work in isolation, if you tell yourself, I'm the kind of person who wakes up early to write, that simple statement makes the action feel like a part of who you are. Now I'm on stage now. I'm trying to work through this and build on my communication skills and public speaking skills. So stay with me. Now I'm going back on stage. Lastly, there's something called self-fulfilling prophecy. The idea that our beliefs about ourselves can literally shape our reality. If you believe you are productive, you'll find yourself making choices that match that belief. Now, picture a simple scenario. You're trying to stick to a new routine at work, like writing for 30 minutes each morning before getting into emails. Instead of seeing yourself as someone trying to develop the habit of writing, you start identifying as a writer. The thought of sitting down to write becomes natural because that's what a writer does. That didn't make sense to me. I'm going to read it again. Instead of seeing yourself as someone trying to develop the habit of writing, you start identifying as a writer. The thought of sitting down to write becomes natural because that's what a writer does. When you shift your identity, it isn't about forcing yourself to get things done. It's about recognizing that what you're doing aligns with the person you already are. And that identity comes with its own set of actions and habits. This principle also applies to managing money. If you identify as someone who is financially savvy, you'll be more likely to track your spending, save regularly, and avoid impulsive buys. You start making decisions that are consistent with your identity, not because you're trying to force yourself, but because that's simply what you do. Think about how this might apply to your career. If you see yourself as a leader, even if you're not technically in charge yet, you start taking actions like leading meetings, mentoring others, or stepping up in challenging situations. Your identity as a leader leads you to naturally taking on behaviors and responsibilities of leadership. Of course, this doesn't mean it's all about, let me start over. So I'm off stage now, but I'm back on. Of course, this doesn't mean it's all about smooth sailing. There are challenges. The first hurdle is belief. If you're not fully convinced that your vision is possible or that you're capable of change, then shifting your identity will feel like an uphill battle. But here's the thing. It's okay to take small steps. You don't have to believe it all at once. Gradually acting as if can help shift your belief system over time. Another challenge is resistance to change. Our old habits die hard. Identifying as a new version of ourselves can sometimes feel like we're not being true to who we are. There's comfort in staying the same, even if it's not aligned with our goals. But embracing this discomfort is where the growth happens. Finally, patience is key. Changing your identity isn't instant. It's a process. It takes time, consistency, and the willingness to embrace the fact that real transformation involves some setbacks along the way. One of the biggest lessons in this process is self-compassion. You'll stumble, like I've been doing. You'll doubt yourself. True. And there will be days when your actions don't align with your ideal identity. But that's part of the journey. The important thing is to recognize that this process is all about growth. In my experience, the more we can detach ourselves from the outcome and focus on who we are becoming in the process, the more likely we are to stick with the changes we're making. It's not about the end goal, but about stepping into the next step of who we are every single day. This approach also teaches you the value of small wins. Rather than focusing on huge milestones that seem far off, you start celebrating the little things like making one small decision today that aligns with your ideal self. Those small steps build momentum and give you a sense of achievement that pushes you forward. Ultimately, identity-based productivity isn't just about getting things done, it's about becoming the person who naturally achieves those things. You don't have to wait for your goals to be realized to start acting like the person you want to be. You can start today. And as you do, your future self will thank you. So let's bring it full circle. The next time you feel stuck, unproductive, or disconnected from your goals, remember this simple truth. Act as if your vision is already your reality. Start thinking about who you need to be, not just what you need to do. Whether it's being a healthier version of yourself, more productive at work, or financially savvy. Shift your identity first. It will naturally lead you to the actions that get you closer to your vision. No need to wait for that perfect moment. Who you are today is a step toward who you will become tomorrow. It's all a part of the process, and every small shift you make brings you that much closer to the life you dream of. So go ahead, start living like the person you want to be, and watch how it changes everything. Thank you for watching. Bye. Stay tuned for tomorrow, day 2 of this challenge of becoming a better me.